Nigerians have been advised to make alternate travel plans and prepare for a total shutdown of the nation's airports, and that will be from Monday. It comes after a warning strike disrupted activities in the sector. Well, we're joined now by Ocheme, who is the General Secretary of one of the striking unions. That's the National Union of Air Transport Employees. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight tonight. Well, let me begin with the statement from the Aviation Minister, Hadi Sirika, who actually says that the strike was totally uncalled for, since the issues that you are fighting for, could have been settled in-house. What's your response to that? And exactly what are the issues you're fighting for?
Yeah, okay. If the issues could have been settled in-house, the matters have been in-house for years. So clearly, it couldn't have been settled in-house. And quite frankly, two of the issues are far beyond the in-house. For example, the issue of minimum wage consequential adjustment payment to the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, consequent to the new Minimum Wage Act signed in 2019, April to be precise. All government employees were impacted by that act. But NIMET, one of the agencies in the aviation industry, has not been impacted. In February, March last year, the National Salaries and Incomes and Wages Commission approved the consequential adjustment for NIMET. And up till now, it has not been implemented. It is far beyond aviation, because we are aware that the Aviation Ministry has made strenuous effort to get this matter implemented. But it's with the Ministry of Finance, because they are paid by the government budget office to be precise. Up till now, what we understand is that it will be implemented with the salaries of this month. But the arrears spanning from 2019, there are no words on how that will be implemented. We also have negotiated conditions of salaries for workers in the Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, in the Civil Aviation Authority, the NCAA, the College of Aviation Technology in Zaria, and the same NIMET, between 9 and more years. And these have been lying with the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission and the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation for this number of many years. And despite the efforts of the agencies and the Ministry of Aviation, these agencies of government have not released these documents. And these are documents that ought to have been reviewed, perhaps in the third cycle. So the workers in these agencies have been stagnated from 9 to 13 years. These clearly are not issues that which unions should be sleeping over. And finally, the minister had continually said that he was going to, he's going to demolish the headquarter offices of the Airports Authority, the Civil Aviation Authority, and the Airspace Management Agency in Lagos. And there have not been any alternative arrangements on how these workers will continue to perform their works, nor how they are going to be transferred to other places. We've called that there should be caution. We should have a phased, organized manner in doing this demolition. It's not an emergency, because what they want is to establish what they call a aerotropolis, or an airport city. It's not an emergency. No one is going to lose his life if these cities don't come on board in the next few months. And this is the twilight of the administration, so we don't understand why they hurry. So we've asked that this process be halted so that workers do not suffer unnecessarily. So these are the three issues that have led to the strike action.
Nigerians understand what you're saying, but again, it will seem as if the last you just spoke about is the ultimate on the plate of your unions, the demolition. Speak to us, because you've also said that some of those salaries have been promised to be paid by the end of this month. Speak to us more about the demolition. What kind of conversation have you had with the Minister Hadi Sirika on the possible movement of your secretariat and buildings, and specifically, are you a part of the new plan to improve our airport?
We had a conversation this evening, actually, with the minister, the ministry, and other agencies via a Zoom meeting. The minister has actually assured that the offices will not be demolished until clear arrangements have been made for the people working in that in those places. For us, probably that puts that matter to rest. But honestly, contrary to the views you hold, the other matters are much more complex and have been intricate, and these have lasted many years. So the promise to implement the consequential adjustment for 9 months at the end of this month does not include the arrears that are accrued over the years since 2019. And it's very important. The increments are very, very minimal. So the workers are looking forward to the arrears. And secondly, the issue of conditions of service that have been lying fallow with the Salaries and Wages Commission over this number of years is we are not sure when that will be settled. A meeting has been called for the 9th of May, which is very far away and very close to the transition end period. So we are very, very concerned about those.
Well, Chairman, let's
you also asked about our
yeah.
Sorry to cut you there. I thought you had landed. Apologies. I was going to ask, when you say Nigerians should be ready for a total shutdown of the airports, paint for us a picture of what this will mean if nothing is done by the government before Monday. Does this affect international flights coming in or going out of the country, or just local flight operations?
Okay, by the way, our unions will be meeting on Tuesday after the holidays to review all the discussions that have taken place within the period, and then take a decision on what the next steps will be. So at this moment, there isn't a decision to shut down operations as from Monday. But when that decision is made and the operations activities are withdrawn, definitely it will affect all kinds of flights in and out of Nigeria, including international flights. Hopefully, we can avoid that situation between now
when you say you meet on Tuesday, Nigerians would like to know, when do you start the strike? When do you halt operations? Is it Monday or Tuesday?
No, by our meeting on Tuesday, we'll decide based on what has happened within this period, including the meeting we had with the minister and the other ministry officials today. We'll put all that into consideration, including the meeting that has been fixed for 9th of May. All that will be taken into consideration when we decide what next steps will be by Tuesday. So a strike date is yet to be fixed.
Right, we do understand that, but in the 2-day warning strike, you did say that if government did not respond in a favorable manner to your requests or your demands, it will be a total shutdown. Definitely, you would have put on the table some of the options, and those options are what we're trying to find out. And have you considered the impact on the Nigerian economy, since the aviation sector contributes hugely to the GDP?
Yes, that is an interesting perspective in terms of losses by airlines, by other business considerations. What is also very important is that the workers in these organizations have lost improvements in their welfare for 9 up to 13 years, depending on the organization they work. these losses are very, very huge at the individual level. And so when we talk about losses, we need to balance the equation. There are people working there, they also need to improve their lives. They have lives to live. So there is also very huge losses on the part of workers, which needs to be put on the table and balanced against losses on the other side. So bottom line is, when issues are unattended to in the proper way, there are always consequences. And these kind of situations that we are in of strikes are natural consequences to the fact that things that need to be attended to are not attended to. The Salaries Wages Commission have statutory duties to perform, but you cannot be dealing with one document for 9 to 13 years. It's clearly not acceptable, and people cannot be stagnated for that length of time. There are huge losses to them. These documents ought to have been reviewed. We should be in the third cycle of review of those same documents. If you take into consideration the people working in the Salaries and Wages Commission, between that time and now, their own salaries have been increased for 3 times. And these other individuals have been held stagnant for this length of time. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. And as unions, we are now ashamed that we have not represented the people well. And it's very bad for us. So bottom line is, we all need to work together, do what we need to do. All interests need to be put on the table. And if we fail to do that, there are usually consequences, which is why we are where we are.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Ocheme Abai's Secretary Nuate on aviation workers' threat to go on a full-scale strike come Tuesday next week. Thank you for joining us.